Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, the Drodals Blitz, and live from the test branch, we have the Charlemagne, a Tier 8 British premium heavy tank, a vehicle that is currently undergoing testing in World of Tanks Blitz. In fact, yesterday, we ran into one of these while I was making a video on the Alt Proto's release, so it was a bit of a treat to run into the tank. In today's video, we're going to be breaking into the vehicle statistics and armor profile, letting you know, hopefully, how I feel this vehicle is going to perform when it does eventually get released on the battlefield. Now, two things I want to say before we get into the stats and armor. First of all, I do not have the tank in my garage. Wargaming, as of right now, still doesn't like me very much and doesn't want me to be in cooperation when it comes to tank releases with them. So, I've gone into the game files and grabbed the tank model and thrown it over in Centurion 5.1, but all the stats and armor you're going to see are very true to what the tank is currently seeing in testing. Second of all, because this tank is in testing, the statistics could be subject to change, whether Wargaming decides that it's too good or pretty bad. Right now, the tank seems very strong, and you'll see. But let's get right into it and show you what this vehicle has going for it. First of all, we have the gun. It's got 0.326 dispersion with a 4-second aiming time. That's actually pretty good, especially when you take a look at the average damage of 390. Yeah, this is actually a really amazing gun when it comes to accuracy and the fact that it's got pretty nice average damage. And it gets even better when we take a look at the secondary high explosive rounds. And that's right, this vehicle's British and it gets HESH. It gets 174 millimeters of HESH pen if you're running calibrated shells with 470 damage per shot. That means the 1958 DPM gets boosted up to about 2350 DPM if you're using the HESH. That is a lot of DPM for a heavy, and that's also incredible alpha for a heavy. That means you can easily stand toe-to-toe with even vehicles like the VK100. And unlike the Charlemagne, that features obviously much more alpha, but at a much bigger downside of awful armor, mobility, and most specifically accuracy, this vehicle's accuracy doesn't suffer at all. It's got plenty. And when we take a look at the gun depression, it's got 8 degrees, which is also very solid. We can also notice that this vehicle has even nastier normal high explosive rounds, which deal 530 damage per shot and still have a pretty nice 75 mils of pen. That means if you get any light tanks like the RU-251 or a T-71 at tier 7, if you get any lightly armored vehicles, those high explosive rounds are going to melt enemy armor. Normally, 400 alpha guns are going to roll only 500, so it's a pretty big increase there. It's a 30 increased alpha, so that's nice. If we take a look at the mobility of the vehicle, it goes 35 and a reverse of 13, so yeah, it's not very fast, but it features a very good power to weight of 15.4, allowing it to average 29, meaning that on most terrain, you're going to reach your top speed quite fast and quite easily. Overall, the tank seems pretty good when it comes to the stats. The gun seems very unique, and I cannot wait to try out this vehicle. But the most important part of the vehicle is the armor profile, so let's break into it. Now, as I said, the Charlemagne is ported over a Centurion RAAC, so that's why the tank looks like it's going Mach 9 right now. The Charlemagne is actually very well armored, though. This is what my premium shells with a vehicle that has 297 millimeters of heat pen, being my IS-6 with Callion, looks like to the upper plate of a Charlemagne. Now, sure, it does have weak spots. We can see that right here. When you're over-angling the sides a little bit, you can go right through the pike-nosed armor on the upper plate. But if you angle the tank correctly, like we can see here, the frontal armor is incredibly strong, especially when you add in the fact that you can run enhanced armor on this vehicle, which is going to make that upper plate, even on just a couple degrees of gun depression like we can see here, incredibly hard to penetrate. That is great, and it showcases just where the Charlemagne is going to be an absolute powerhouse on the battlefield. We can also see that the turret armor is super duper strong, being nearly impervious to aim at. So yeah, overall, the tank, as of now, seems incredible on the armor. You can notice just how it looks hauled down is already very pinkish and completely red with standard ammo. So yeah, the vehicle looks pretty dang solid. Now, on flat ground, yeah, obviously it's going to be a pretty easy pen. And not only that, but we can see the sides are casually British, meaning very flat and very easy to cut right through. But something I was surprised about is the rear armor. This is what my high explosive, which is like 75 mils of HE pen, looks like to the back of the Charlemagne. And as you'll notice, I can't pen it with HE. That is incredibly surprising. Normally, British tanks like the Centurion, the T-95 Chieftain, I mean, even the Carnarvon, all of them have terrible rears, like 25 to 40 mils thick. This tank completely non-penetrable with high explosive. That really surprised me because, once again, this just looks kind of like a different version of a Centurion / Carnarvon hull. So very surprised to see the armor. Even the back of the turret, as we can see, is completely impervious to high explosive. The final bit of the armor I thought would be quite important to go over was the hull down armor, because obviously when looking at a vehicle that is 8 degrees of gun depression, you want to see how the turret armor is, and more specifically upper plate, when you're using it fully hull down. So I'm going to back my IS-6 up, and wow, yeah, that is very, very strong armor. Yes, we can see that there are cheeks on the vehicle. You can see them quite easily. Yeah, you're going to be able to cut right through those cheeks on flat if you have very high pen. But you need to realize that that is very high pen, again, that my IS-6 carries. I am featuring 297 mils of premium pen. For people out there that love to run rammer, that is going to be an incredibly hard penetration. Good luck trying to cut through that. So yeah, I have to be real. The Charlemagne seems, as of right now, really good. Like, nerfed really good state. I can't see this tank going into the game with the fact that it has no HE-able weak spots, even though it's your casual British type of vehicle. I also can't see the tank coming into the game with the fact that the armor is this good, and the also fact that it carries a gun that features 470 alpha. But you know what? I guess we'll find out. I can't fully judge how this tank is going to play until it does get released, but it looks really good as of now. One thing I should add is that it does have a hatch on the roof, which we can see, but it's not really a weak spot, more just something that you could shoot, I guess, if it's face-hugging you. But at that point, you can just go through the upper plate, because hull down, that hatch is very hard to hit, and for the most part, I'd suggest just to go for the turret cheeks. So this is the Charlemagne. A vehicle that, at least on paper, seems incredibly powerful, and I can tell you for a fact that if the tank stays the way it currently is, this is a 100% keeper when it gets released. Sometimes Wargaming releases vehicles, for example, like the AMX Alt Proto, which we can see in store literally right now. The Alt Proto is a ridiculous price tag of 17,500 gold for 10 crates. That means it's 52,000 gold to get your hands on the vehicle guaranteed, and even with double gold bundles, 52,000 gold is ridiculously expensive, about $75. But at least you get some gold back with the crates. It's still quite expensive to get your hands on the vehicles. So hopefully the crates, because we all know Wargaming, this will probably be sold in crates. Hopefully with the crates, it'll be about $50 with double gold bundles, but you never know with Wargaming. Either way, the tank seems very, very solid as of now, and I'm excited for it, but we'll have to see. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, and especially you like seeing test tanks like this being featured on my channel, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, because I do risk it every time with Wargaming. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.